Why, hello, friends. It is I, host Eric, and today I choose stream. I'm living my life as an ESFJ today, which means I choose the truth. Every day I choose it, and I am reminded of what the truth is by a sign on the wall that says, "Today I choose stream." Otherwise, I would never have recalled that today I choose stream. I hope you also choose stream today. You should. I checked your horoscope. It's very clear on the matter. You should choose stream, it says. And if you don't, the slabs will be angered. Don't anger the slabs if you don't want to end up in a bad place. Hi, other self. Are you still utterly yourself? You know what I like to say? Utterances, schmutterances. So anyway, I'm here. I'm talking about choosing choices today. I'm talking about making wise choices. Other self, are you making wise choices? Are you choosing wisely? This is the question each of us needs to ask ourselves and everybody else from now on. Because one of the biggest problems we face in the world today is that people aren't choosing wisely enough. How am I doing? I'm doing somewhere between good and meow. Not fantastic. I'm at the end of a cycle, basically. So I'm pretty tore up feeling. You can see the circles under my eyes and stuff, you know. But other than that, I'm doing well. I wouldn't say I'm bursting with verve, but that's not unusual exactly. I'm only sometimes bursting with verve. The only non-wise choice is the non-made one. Well, that would be a critique of S.E. Polar, wouldn't it? The only bad choice is not making a choice. Is a very pro-SE, anti-SE Polar kind of approach to things. I mean, a lot of times, if you're given a choice, the option is don't make a choice, wait, see how things develop, and maybe you're going to end up not wanting to make either of those choices. Is that a choice? Well, not really. It's a delaying of choosing. Of course, if you're SE Polar, you have a problem with delaying choosing all the time. And at the same time, I don't remember actually choosing to stream this morning, per se. Even though I titled the stream, "Today I choose stream." Did I really choose to stream, or did it just sort of happen? This is 8th slot SE. Things just sort of seem to happen. I'm just doing things before I recognize it. That's super unconscious SE, you know? There's something I figured out the other day. I was proud of myself for figuring out. I thought, now that's some good TE. What was it? I don't remember now. Well, that may be the case, Legends Fall, but that's a TI thing. So, okay, I agree that TI doesn't like to decide to know before it's done deciding. Okay? But the difference between SETI and TINE is that TINE never does decide. There isn't a decision at the last minute. There are multiple decisions that get affirmed and then tossed aside, affirmed and then tossed aside, affirmed and then tossed aside, until it never happens. Thanks, CJ. That picture is from National Geographic. It's of I just googled the term stream and put up and pushed images. Yeah, you kind of washed the dishes and installed the dating app that way today. You just sort of ended up falling into it. So, I'm embracing my inner ESFJ. So it's FISE deliberative, or it judges and then acts? The latter. I mean, but judging is a deliberative process. So it is deliberative and then it acts, or doesn't according to its deliberation. I mean, you're not always going to choose to act when you deliberate about something. Sometimes, if you've got conscious, effective SE, you're going to know when to act and when not to act, how much force or pressure to apply to get a given outcome, and how to not apply too much force or pressure to get a given outcome or impact, But I don't feel as though I really understand your type that well, Eliana Diaz. Your type's like a mysterious, exotic, night blooming flower to me. ISFP is. You're a mysterious, exotic, night blooming flower. Occasionally I'll get a glance of, or a sniff of, what's really that type's really about, but almost all the time when they're behaving in ways that are revelatory to me about their natures, I'm sleeping or not smelling flowers at that time. In that regard, ISFPs are like a mysterious exotic night blooming flower from the Orient. The exotic and mysterious Orient. Utter boobs. Too bad you can't put a dot inside the middle of those middle circles. That would really make it look like boobs. I'm sorry, bubes. I understand they've officially changed the pronunciation of it to bubes. BEWBS. For example, do you want to do X tomorrow? I don't know. Ask me tomorrow. Yeah, well, it's true. I mean, being an SE type means you want to keep your capacity to pull the trigger. If you pulled the trigger already on something that's committing you to a long holding trigger pull, then during that time you can't pull the trigger again on something else. So there's a natural resistance to commitments like that. My daughter's very much like that. My daughter's exactly like what you're saying right there. And I'm even worse, though, by a large margin. Like, somebody asks me, as Boba Fett did, as frequently does, or sometimes does, are you going to stream later? The answer is always the same. I don't know. I have no idea. That question confuses me. I won't know until I'm doing it. Then I know that that in fact, at the time when you asked, that yes, I was going to stream later. But I can't have no way of when I try to think about that. Like, am I going to do meow later? Well, I mean, is there something forcing me to? Then I have no idea. I just have no clue if I'm going to do meow later. If it's my free time, then I can do with what I want. Like, I know I'm going to be doing this typing session later that I have at 7 o'clock. But what am I going to do between now and then? Well, right now I'm doing this. What about after this? I could muse about possibilities, like, well, I'd probably take a bath, maybe maybe eat some food, you know. If I say yes, I probably won't, exactly. Saying that, yeah, I'm going to do meow later decreases the likelihood of me doing it. What do you mean when you use the phrase split the difference? Well, it generally means let's meet halfway, compromise. So let's figure out what the different you minus me equals meow. Let's split that in half to compromise. That's what splitting the difference is, you know? Buttershelf, you must be an ENTP. You sound like you understand the ways and the means of doing things. I probably already know that, but I forgot. I wasn't sure what type you are. You sound like an ENTP. And your understanding of how that works. It's basically the premise that words shouldn't control action. I mean, like, you know, words shouldn't force you into action. That's not the point of words. Words should not corner the self into doing things. And it takes us a long time to realize just how awful we are about that. Yeah, well, I was talking words, though. Those were words I was saying. You mean I'm supposed to do what I said I was going to do? So, okay, I'm going to try to always remember to say hypothetically before everything. So nobody thinks I'm actually committing to doing anything, you know? Is the fourth aspirational? I mean, I think the fourth is, it's your conscious sacrifice. So, in other words, when you're young, you don't really realize that you're sacrificing your fourth for your first. You think, fourth stuff's boring, I wish I didn't have to do that. I wish there were less of it in life. As you get older, you start to see it more as, I'm not doing enough fourth. And I should do more, and I'd be better off if I did. But you still tend to forget that a lot of the problems you're experiencing right now could be solved by switching your attention away from your reflexive expression of self and towards the rest period for that. I got it screen printed. I had a guy who screen printed shirts for me for a while. And what you will see, if you want to understand the meaning of things, is this. Piao. See, it says talking with famous people. If I had thought about the fact that I'd one day be using a green screen, I wouldn't have gotten my shirts made in green, but I wasn't thinking about that when I had the shirts made. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Whoa! fucking Eric. Of course, because it's me who knocked over my bong and not Rachel who knocked over a bong. It's perfectly fine. In fact, it landed like this, bounced, and then stood up on its bottom again. If Rachel had dropped it, it would have broken. She's got bad luck compared to me about shit like that. I'm just in general in life lucky. I'm a very lucky person. I mean, it doesn't mean I'm lucky at gambling, but it means, like, the universe is very willing to sacrifice verisimilitude in order to facilitate Eric being Eric. So, like, if I really get in trouble and I'm being chased by bad guys to the top of a rooftop someplace, there will conveniently be a hang glider there for me for some reason. Like that kind of shit, you know? Like there was a time when I was in Laverne and I really needed about $5,000. And that's exactly when the cop in Pomona decides to push me and violate my First Amendment rights, and Pomona offers me $5,000. And I'm like, okay, that's the universe's slobbery working in my favor. I'm going to pee right now, by the way. This is an SI example right now, me going to pee. I feel the urine in my bladder, and it's knocking at the door. It's knocking at the door of my pee hole. And instead of waiting longer, leaving it shivering there on the doorstep, I said, go ahead, pee. Go ahead. Leave my body. Yes. Today I choose stream of urine. Oh yeah, that's a bonus for you there. That one came out of my butt. Hi, Rachel, darling. I've heard a rumor that you're a very, 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 very special lady. Is it true? So, fourth slot is less aspirational and more like, sigh, I have to do this more. Yeah, although sometimes it can be, sigh, I'm finally doing this. You also get some of that, you know, like, oh, I've been needing to do this for a long time. But if it's not that, then it's, sigh, I have to do this more. Well, no sane person would complain about me peeing during a typing session or a phone call. Because presumably if they hire me, they know what they're going to get, right? They're going to get me pulling bong rips during the typing session. They're going to get me having to get up and refill my coffee, maybe go pee. So if they want to complain about that, I just laugh at them. I just say, who did you think you were hiring? Did you think you were hiring C.S. Joseph? He might be subject to that critique because his whole shtick is banking on the appearance of expertise. But I actually have the actual thing, so... Okay. So, of course, what's one of the consequences of knocking over your bomb? Anyone? Anyone? Bueller? Anyone? Well, one of the consequences of knocking over your bong is that you have to refill it with water. Because a bong's not just an unnecessarily complicated pipe. The reason it's made like this is because it holds water inside of it. This water acts like a cooling device. Imagine, if you would, a nuclear power plant. It needs to cool down that superheated nuclear waste stuff. So, what do they use? They use water. That's right, water. Just like this bomb. I cleaned it up a little bit. I wiped it with a napkin. I wiped it with a few napkins. This floor is fucking trashed anyway. I mean, like, the carpet is ridiculous. There's no way the carpet can stay nice out here. Well, I don't want to have an OnlyFans account. I want to have an Only Haters account. It's like OnlyFans, except it's only for haters. And it's for people who are willing to subject themselves to a lot of abuse from haters for money. If you subscribe to my Only Haters account, when you shit on me, hate on me, otherwise insult me or whatever, I have to just be like, damn, that burns. I can't ever even fight back because it's Only Haters. The haters come first at onlyhaters.com. I know, I read all about that, Rain. Pretty impressive. Pretty fucking impressive. To maintain an artificial sun, essentially, for 5 seconds, it's pretty impressive. That's like the future right there, you know. What they don't get, though, is that I'm currently working on cold fusion. I've got a couple of atoms in the bedroom in there. And what I do every night is I push them together as hard as I can. And I can tell they're starting to smush together. And once they finally do, then I will have my own cold fusion reactor going in the middle of my bedroom. It'll be cold. It'll be producing infinite amount of free electricity. And it'll all be because I pushed that hard. You liked how the inside of the fusion plant looked? It looked crazy, right? It looked like something from a science fiction movie. This fucking huge ass device thing with all these pipes and shit going up it. But you know what? You want to really impress me? Do cold fusion. Do that same thing, but do it in the freezer. Then I'll be impressed. I'm not in yoga pants. I've got shorts on. I don't have any yoga pants. I've got yogurt pants, but boy, are they messy. Why are they doing these experiments? To generate electricity. If you use nuclear fusion instead of fission, you get the power generation capacity that's greater than nuclear fission and almost none of the radioactivity. There is some very short-lived radioactivity, but it's much less of a problem than the nuclear waste from a fission plant. So if they can sustain these fusion reactions, currently it requires more energy to create the reaction than it does then they get energy out of it. So it took a lot of energy for them to generate enough energy to boil 60 kettles of water. That's how much they generated with this most recent experiment. Was they only generated enough electricity energy to boil, or they only generated enough energy to boil 60 kettles of water, which isn't a lot of energy. They put more energy than that into making the reaction. But apparently, it's like, I'm not sure if it's a time thing. It may be a time thing, that if they can sustain it longer than the the output starts to exceed the input, the initial input to get it started, or if it's just a matter of making the processes of generating the initial fusion more efficient. I'm not exactly sure what the mechanisms by which they're going to convert this from currently a energy losing endeavor into an energy winning endeavor. But then I'm no nuclear scientist. That's the thing. I am just simply not a nuclear scientist. Why aren't you a nuclear scientist? People might say to me. That's a good question, I'll say in response. Well, reason number 1, science is boring. Reason number 2, nuclear stuff sounds hard. Reason number 3, nuclear science sounds boring and hard. Reason number 4, 'cause what? No thanks. All of those reasons. Those are reasons why I'm not a nuclear scientist. That's why I do all of my nuclear experiments here at my house using just random atoms I find from around the world and pushing them together with my fingers. Reactor. They call it a reactor, but isn't it really an actor? I'd say so. It's not reacting to the fusing of two things. It's causing them to fuse. You're going to Long Beach in California in June to visit your husband's aunt and uncle. Apparently there is this serious debate about labeling nuclear waste containers in a way such that people in 10,000 years can recognize this stuff as dangerous. But surely if people are alive in 10,000 years, then muggity meow. Well, not necessarily. We could have regressed at some point during those 10,000 years, and we're not exactly sure where we're going to be in terms of civilization. So, I mean, the point being, because we can't know for sure that people in the future, that something dramatic wouldn't have happened that would ruin the continuity of our current history, such that people no longer recalled what all these things were. That we'd still be able to recognize the symbols and stuff that we put on them that meant, stay away, this is very dangerous, this will kill you, or whatever. What do you mean Doc Ock tried what out? I don't know what you're talking about. Tried cold fusion reactions? Yes, I mean, they've been in the news for decades. I don't think that Doc Ock tried my method of cold fusion out, though, which is pushing random atoms together with your fingers in your bedroom before you go to bed, like this. But every time I put my glasses on and look, I can see the atoms are getting a little bit more smushed together. I'm not sure what you're saying he did, though. Anyone ever drive and see the icicles hanging off of cars and really want to get out and kick them? I don't ever drive places where the people have icicles on their cars. That's a silly question. And the answer is no. I also don't go and try to pick molten magma off people's cars. I think just to play a trick on future generations, they should put a big picture of somebody drinking directly from the barrel of toxic waste, and then a picture of them next to it going, mmm. That would be a fun trick to play on our future peoples. But what are you saying happened that they tried? I think I did see it, but I don't know what you're referring to and how it links to what you're talking about. Tried this out. What's the this? Thank God for evolution. Oh yeah, evolution. Whew, that'll solve the problem. Well, I mean, yeah, like I said, the attempt to do fusion reactions has been in the works for decades. So it's not like Spider-Man 2 made up the notion of fusion reactions. Of course, the key thing about successfully creating a fusion reaction is that there's no materials that you can contain the energy within that will not melt because it's too hot, right? So you have to contain the energy within a magnetic field, and that's where the high requirement of energy input comes in. So you got to create this massively powerful electromagnetic field, and even then, like after the 5 minutes are done, all the components used to make that electromagnetic field are melted, and so you can only use them once. Okay, well, I'm sure it's fun, but I'm saying it's a silly question to ask me because I live in Los Angeles. No, obviously I don't. I don't want to wait for my life to be over. There's one thing that's pretty obvious to me. Well, presumably if you created a sun within a black hole, you'd never be able to even see it manifest, because it's like, let's say you could somehow trigger it to start within the black hole while you were outside the black hole. You would never see it happen because it would be as though time were frozen inside the black hole. You wouldn't ever get to see anything progress. So it'd be impossible to know if you really even triggered it. Well, let's say you started an artificial sun right outside of a black hole. Well, what would happen is it would get sucked into the black hole. That's what would happen. And from the sun's perspective, it would seem to infinitely slow down, I guess. Evolution is the number one bullshit, I agree. It's the number one bullshit underlying everybody's operating assumptions. Not that it really matters a great deal. It's just that huge swaths of explanations for things are totally bullshit because they're predicated on evolution. Okay, can you please stop turning my horizon into an event? It is not an event. It's an ever-changing physical reference point. Did they, Michelle? Did they drink nuclear waste on Bugs Bunny and Roadrunner show? I don't remember them doing that, but that's... Don't drink nuclear waste if you don't want to die of horrible cancers. Wow, I can't believe that headline. Autopsy. Bob Saget died from blunt force trauma, also had COVID. Wow, you better put him down on the list of COVID deaths then, I guess, huh? So I think what we can conclude there is that having COVID makes you more susceptible to dying from blunt force trauma, probably. Well, see, COVID's not inherently bullshit. COVID's a fruit from a bullshit tree rather than a bullshit tree. Evolution is a bullshit tree. COVID is the fruit from the bullshit tree in which there's never any explicit discussion of how to balance sanctity of life versus quality of life concerns. It's not like COVID isn't real. COVID is a real disease. People do get it. It is was anyway, kind of bad. But it didn't justify the public response because the public response to it wasn't proportional to how we respond to equivalence, wasn't justified by actual likelihood of fatality. Like, it wasn't justified because it has such a high fatality rate. It was justified because it's going to kill a lot of people because people have no immunity to it. Well, the other thing is, of course, it did kill a lot of people, I don't doubt. But then, if that is in fact the case, how effective really were our countermeasures? And even if they were effective, how effective do they have to be to justify the amount of harms they do, and how do we measure all those harms? Those are all sort of things that needed to be addressed and still need to be addressed regarding COVID. And that's why our COVID policies are fruit from a bullshit tree. The bullshit tree being sanctity of life trumps all. Of course, sanctity of life does not trump all, and that's all there is to it. The difference between a sun and a black hole is that suns aren't black. They're yellow. They're yellow with lines coming off of them. Haven't you ever seen a sun before? If you call it blunt force drama, it could be a reality show about that same league of superpowered stoners fighting for justice. Blunt force drama. The reality show camera people go and take up residence with this league of superheroes in their house that they all share, and they have their booth moments. Jeremy thinks he's so cool because he's a drummer in a band, but you know what? I'm gonna be honest, that band sucks. I mean, I don't want to hurt any feelings, but breaking news, widow of Bob Saget currently dating John Stamos. When did Bob Saget die? How long ago? Did John Stamos kill Bob Saget? No, it would really brighten up the place, Gen XL. Putting a sun in a black hole is a great way to improve its feng shui. You need to go find a distressing meme to share with me? Do I really want to be distressed? I mean, I guess if it's de-stressing me, that's fine. But if it's distressing me, no. John Stamos is overrated by whom about what? Who thinks John Stamos is the shit? I've never heard anybody have anything positive particularly to say about John Stamos, or negative, really. I would hardly say, though, that he's overrated. Who's rating John Stamos? Bob Saget? You might well say it was overrated. People thought he was a good comedian because he worked really dirty, which was in contrast with the character he played on that show. But that's not good enough for me. He had some funny jokes, I guess, but Bob Saget, you could say, is overrated. Well, I want to investigate Bobby Brown. He's the one who seems to know first what's going on about this. Maybe he's the one who killed Bob Saget. Bobby Brown, where were you on the night Bob Saget was killed? Oh, you were here watching the live stream? Okay. That's a good alibi. That would be an addiction to possibly two separate addictions even. I mean, first of all, you gotta really love Coca-Cola because you can get it for $1 at the drive-thru at McDonald's. That's probably the story here. Is Bobby Brown killed Saget, wanted to get on his wife, but then John Stamos swooped in and scooped her up before he had a chance to grab her. Is that what happened, Bobby Brown? I suspect it's actually one of those, polyamorous things, where it's John Stamos, it's Bob Saget's wife, it's the guy from Charles in Charge, Tony Danza, and it's Tracy Gold from Growing Pains. They're having a polyamorous foursome. Didn't he have like a wife beating problem or something? Do you think if a type is to become evil, their motivations will come from their third slot or just their absolute values? You have said that the third slot is selfish in the past. No, I don't think that evilness links to type, really. I guess what you're asking is, if somebody's evil, how do they express that evil? Well, mostly with their tool function. So, the reason I'm answering the question the way I am is because I was thinking to myself, well, what's an example of somebody being evil to me, and how did it manifest? Well, Kimberly, though she wasn't evil, she was BPD, it manifests as a lot of wicked behavior. And the way she did it was she used her FE tool function to shame and belittle me. Are you sure he didn't beat her up or something? Let me look this up. Okay. What's his name again? Bobby Brown. Let's see. Marriages. Whitney Houston. Throughout their marriage, there were rumors of infidelity on Brown's part, drug use, and one instance where Brown was said to have hit Houston. The couple was also enjoying each other's company many times. Some sketch comedy shows would show Brown as a has-been who is jealous of his wife's icon status. In 2003, Brown was charged with battery after an altercation with Houston. In the reality show Being Bobby Brown, which gave a picture of their lives behind the scenes, the couple participated in that. The divorce was finalized in 2007, Houston receiving custody of their daughter. Houston admitted to sometimes using drugs with Brown, stating that Brown had laced marijuana with cocaine. Laced it. Right. Okay, thanks. Following the death of Whitney Houston's dead? Along with Clive Davis, Ray J, and others, Brown has been accused of contributing to the singer's death, which he denies. Huh. He was diagnosed with ADHD and then bipolar. He was a pot smoker and then became an alcoholic. Brown claims that Houston introduced him to cocaine shortly before their wedding in 1992. Throughout the 90s, his drug addiction worsened. At one point, he was cooking cocaine and using heroin. According to the former gang member David Collins, Brown was kidnapped by New York street gang The Preacher Crew over a $25,000 drug debt in 1993. Houston paid a $400,000 ransom to the gang and threatened to kill Brown. The incident was never reported to authorities. In 1990, he was charged with disorderly conduct. 1995, were charged in the beating of a nightclub patron. After his arrest, Brown urinated in a police car, scratched 4-letter words in the vinyl. Brown was cited for battery after police said he kicked a hotel security guard. In 1998, he was convicted of DUI and causing property damages when he crashed into a condominium sign while driving. In 1998, he was charged with sexual battery for allegedly slapping a woman's behind at the Beverly Hills Hotel. That sounds like a little bit of overcharging there. He spent 26 days in jail when he was arrested by U.S. Customs agents in New Jersey on the way back from the Bahamas. They arrested him for an outstanding warrant for violating probation. In 2002, he was arrested on drug and traffic charges. In 2003, was pleaded guilty to drunk driving. 2003, probation problems with drunk driving. 2003, charged with battery for striking his wife Whitney Houston and threatening to beat her ass. Police reported that Houston had visible injuries to her face. 2004, Brown was sentenced to 90 days in jail and $63,000 in back child support to Kim Ward. After one night in jail, he was released when he paid off the debt. In 2004, he received a suspended sentence for missing consecutive child support payments. 2007, unpaid child support. 2012, drunk driving. 2012, drunk driving. Well, at least he seems to have gotten less violent over the years, maybe. That's the other, I was saying before, I'm a lucky person in life in general. I was a drunk, I was an alcoholic, and I never got a DUI, even though I was driving drunk a lot and easily could have, Let's see, I missed a lot of stuff here. Lol, finally someone caught on. You were all dead today. FE tool or 6FI. QED proof by example. Bobby is short-sighted, tyrannical, and shows his hand. He's panicked and powerless. Who is? Don't they have copycat convoys in the States now? Oh, I see the Canada thing. Shark Convoy is nice. Well, joints with a tad of coke did not make Whitney act that way. Jesus. You aware of that card game which has cards which tie in with major events? Lol, Mandela effect much? Piss poor lie, haha. If only his drug choice would have been Molly. Proud of those glorious sons of bitches. There are copycat convoys all over the world. Whitney was into coke before Bobby. On their wedding day, he walked into her snorting coke in the bathroom. With Illuminati card or something like that, Bobby Brown? Yep. My bad. I confused him with R. Kelly. Ah. Yeah, you confused him with R. Kelly. That's a fair mistake to make. I can understand why one would make that mistake. I might confuse him for R. Kelly as well. Plastic was invented in 1907, and in 115 years, humanity has doomed the planet with its pollution. Now there are 8.3 billion tons of plastic on Earth, and it's estimated 6.3 billion of that is trash. 23,000 drug debt back then. What, he stole their sack full of coke or what? It probably built up over time, you know. Okay, quit shitting on plastic. I hate all this environmental stuff that makes me feel sad. Well, if I got plastic in the brain, then hopefully that will make my brain a little bit more durable than just plain old meat that's in there now. He lost a lot of loved ones, children too. Well, R. Kelly definitely included a lot of urine in his sexual activities. But you know who else likes to pee on people? Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods, was basically a totally awful human being. Probably still isn't a great human being. And, I don't know, he doesn't seem to get the hate that he deserves for his awfulness. He seems to have somehow escaped most of the critique that would normally ensue. Like, that poor lady who he was married to, that blonde lady. I guess that tigers mark their territory. Maybe. But he really had a history of treating women in general as very poorly, just like objects, Don't be a rambling man now, host Eric? Okay, I won't be a rambling man. What does that mean exactly? Am I rambling? I'll try to be more purposeful in my conversation. There, do that. Eat this. Smoke that. Touch that. Yeah. Get busy, Boba Fett. Clean your spoon. Your spoon is filthy. Play ragtimes. Clean your spoon and play ragtimes on the piano. That makes me want to play that racist song I sometimes play. Yes, it's a racist song. No, that doesn't mean that I'm racist. Maybe we need to repeat this more often, but the opinions and songs played on this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of Eric, okay? I did not write this song. I don't agree with its message, but I do agree that it's a fabulous song. And that's what really matters. Okay? That matters more than stupid fucking political bullshit. It's music, for Christ's sakes. You might call me a rambling man. I do a lot of thumbing and a kicking cans, but it won't do an answer good to call me names. Let's start over. You might call me a rambling man, 'cause I do a lot of thumbing and a kicking canes, but it won't do an answer good to call me names. My daddy wasn't well, it was though I wasn't born and raised in no ghetto, just a right boy looking for a place to do my thing. I don't want no handout living, don't want any part of anything they giving. I'm proud and white and got a song to sing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get ahead, you gotta hump and get it. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I'm gonna find me a wealthy woman and a line of work that don't take no diploma, 'cause I ain't got much to lose but a loss to gain. You might call me a good time fella, but I ain't no black and I ain't no yellow. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I don't want no handout living, no want any part of anything they giving. I'm proud and white and got a song to sing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get ahead, you gotta hump and get it. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Small town boy, been around a little, and I like guitar and I like the fiddle, 'cause that's the sort of soul take to fan my flame. I'm blue-eyed, red, feared and ready. I've got to work just to be somebody. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I don't want no handout living, don't want any part of anything they giving. I'm proud and white and got a song to sing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get ahead, you gotta hump and get it. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get ahead, you gotta hump and get it. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get ahead, you gotta hump and get it. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Now, the thing is, everybody's gotta agree. Sure, yes, of course it's a racist song. Obviously, it's very racist. But, like, fuck yeah, Country Town Jamboree, you know? That thing rocks. That thing rocks the country Rockensteins. Yeah, I put strings on yesterday. I put the 2 strings on. Turns out I had them the whole time, too. I had both of them. I didn't even need to go to the store to get a string. I finally got around to looking through my strings. Rather than operating under the assumption that I didn't have a high E string, I thought, well, maybe if I look, maybe I do have one. Who knows? And you know what? I did. I had one the whole time. It was right there, inside of me, in my imagination. It was actually right there on the shelf. And I had this moment of like, oh no. Because I had all the strings there in a pile, but they weren't in the box they come in. And I was like, oh no. How am I going to know which is the B string and which is the E string? But guess what? Then I noticed right next to the strings was an empty box from the strings. And it says on the back which color thing is which. So I did one of these. Whew! That was a close one. I did one of those, and when I wiped my forehead like that, my hand wiped away huge amounts of sweat because of the stress and tension of that moment. I always get the same kind of strings. I always get light strings. I don't need medium strings. Who needs medium strings? Nobody. What do you like? Do you need Magnum condoms as well? Yeah, I wear Magnum condoms and I put on medium gauge acoustic strings. Okay. Okay, buddy. I'm sure you do. Oof. Boy, I gotta tell you, this regular condom is too small for me. So way too small. I mean, it really, first of all, let me just make it very clear. To the extent that there are guys out there for whom the regular condoms are too small, they do not represent a sufficiently large demographic to justify the selling of a product specifically for them. I am quite confident that almost none of the people who purchase Magnum condoms are unable to fit inside a regular condom. As I remember from sex ed class, I remember this from my sex ed class, I think at, I don't know, middle school or something. Like, there was this woman who came in and was talking about condoms, and she said, now someone might try to tell you girls that they can't fit into this, that it's too tight or whatever. And she stuck her arm, like from her fist to her elbow, into the condom and said, girl, if he can't fit into one of these, you don't want anything to do with it. I remember this from like sex ed class or something. You can put your whole arm into a condom. A regular condom. This is before the existence of magnums. So the idea that people need magnum condoms is so stupid. It's so not true. Anyway, what I really want in a condom is like the skinny jeans equivalent of a condom. I want it to hug. I want it to make me feel like I'm getting my blood pressure taken on my penis. So basically I want a condom that's made for a pencil, but I want to put it on my penis so that it feels held in there, like hugged. Hugged very tightly. You protect yourself exclusively with deflated weather balloons. I see. Well, the troubles that gigantic men like you must go through, I can't imagine. I do not want to try Ernie's balls, okay? I'm sure they're fantastic, but I'm not in the market for those particular body parts. Now, if it were pure scrotum, that would be different, but... No, it won't work if both parties climb into the same condom, Dallas. That's missing the point. You're getting it all wrong at that point. I mean, basically, they should put the two lovers each in their own separate hamster wheel, giant hamster wheel, and make them have sex like that. And then, totally safe. Safe from, I'm sorry, I got distracted by Bobby Brown's insanity. I read about the Wikipedia stuff. I read Wikipedia. The reason I was reading stuff about his criminal activity is because I had said, didn't he have some sort of domestic violence thing? You said no. And in fact, he did. That's why I was reading that. Because it was the relevant response to what you said. There's nothing not TI about that. You think, I guess, you're an INTP or something, but you don't have a clear understanding of what TI is. And then, like, this is an example of something that's not relevant at all and doesn't validate on any TI grounds whatsoever. He's an accomplished musician. I mean, that means absolutely nothing to me. If what you mean is like he plays his instruments more fancy than me or something, that doesn't impress me at all. And he's completely clean and sober now. If that's what he wants, good for him, you know. I'm not trying to tell him to do more drugs. Whereas I huff nitrous. Well, I don't so much huff it as I do inhale it, hold it in, feel the effects of it, blow it out, repeat. Eat, sleep, rave, repeat, you know. What makes you think I'd be better off if I were completely sober? Like, why is that something to aspire to? I mean, the thing is this. It's important for each of us in life to mature into a sustainable kind of self, right? Like, we all have our crazyalities, and we're best served when we successfully mature into a version of self that handles those crazyalities in ways that don't preclude sustainability, and find a self that works as a habitual way of being in which one can be comfortable and happy. Now, by and large, I'm comfortable and happy-ish. I'm certainly not unhappy. The reason I say happy-ish is because it has a lot to do with where I am in the month. And you might say, well, that's what I'm talking about, Eric. That's what makes it bad. Well, it's not the case that Bobby Brown is always continually happy, nor is it the case that that would be a good thing. It's a natural part of being human to have emotional ups and downs and levels of energy that also follow some sort of rhythmic cycle. These are naturally part of being a biological being. So it still is not establishing that there's anything preferable about being completely sober. You seem to be weirdly fixated on this stuff. Like, for example, when I correctly critiqued Sam Barkinen, I believe it was you who said that I was just mad because Sam was critiquing doing drugs, which I do, so I was personalizing it. Which obviously I wasn't in any way, shape, or form. It's like you weren't hearing and analyzing what I said at all. So you seem to have some sort of issue with this. Like, I don't know if you haven't yet come to terms with your own position on it, and so you're projecting your uncertainty within yourself onto me as certainty, or if it's something else. But yeah, you've got some sort of issue with intoxicants that make you want to conflate them with failure in some regard, or say that justifies your critiquing an individual as a whole, or that it justifies you, I guess, claiming primacy for one person over another based on that criterion. Those sort of things are absolute garbage, of course. So to the extent that you want to do that, you got to figure out what it is about you that you're struggling with. Because it's something about you that you're struggling with, not me. I'm not struggling with anything like that. Hi, Raphael. When I say messed up, I'm not saying bad or antisocial. What I'm saying is messed up as in really, really high. Right. Emergent. Mentally emergent. That's a good euphemism for really, really high. I'm mentally emergent right now. What does that mean? Just let it sit with you for a while. See what meaning it presents. I mean, I think anytime you try to critique somebody's person as a whole on the grounds of certain observable behaviors, you need to be able to justify that those behaviors are wrong morally in some way. Or at least that you can point to concrete specific ways in which those behaviors are unhealthy for the individual engaging in them. And to point to such, you'd have to point to examples of like things like me getting super drunk at a kid's birthday party and embarrassing myself would be the kind of evidence that would be meaningful if you were going to try to critique me and my intoxicant consumption. So, it's unfortunate that there are still people who engage in that kind of thoughtless ontological assault, but there are, and it's my job to try to teach Bobby Brown the truth. Hopefully he understands things better moving forward. I don't know. HIPAA violation. I don't know what HIPAA is. It sounds so familiar, but I can't think of what it is. It's a something Protection Act. Let me see. Search Google for HIPAA. The Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act is a federal law that required the creation of national standards to protect sensitive patient health information from being disclosed. Right, okay. People can disclose my health information if they want, I don't care. Disclose away. Were their fists moving as fast as lightning? Because if not, then they need to work on their speed. Their fists aren't moving fast enough. Because my fists aren't moving fast enough, I insist people who have been through some things tend to have more soul. I mean, I've noticed that when I knew this girl in college who really had never been through anything, and she seemed kind of weirdly, blindly callous towards how others might not be so privileged. Like she really had a lot of, I guess, isolated class privilege. Like, she kind of had this let them eat cake attitude, but not necessarily not about like poor people, but just about anybody she's interacting with. Was there anything that was kind of mean for you to say that? Well, I'm sure they'll just go buy a new shirt and feel happy that they got a new shirt then. Okay, well, you're kind of a bitch. That was my friend Chris Morrow's girlfriend for a while. That girl. Let's see who that was. going to the loaf. Up mountain, going to the loaf. Going to the loaf. Up mountain, going to the loaf. We're gonna drive those windy roads, mountain sunshine on the trees, far above the smoky city. Mountain sunshine on those trees. Mountain sunshine on the trees, far above the smoky city. Mountain sunshine on those trees. Going to the loaf. Up mountain, going to the loaf. Far from the city below. Going to the loaf. Up mountain, going to the loaf. Gonna take those windy roads, mountain sunshine on the trees, far above the smoky city. Mountain sunshine on those trees. Mountain sunshine on the trees, far above the smoky city. Mountain sunshine, mountain sunshine, mountain sunshine on those trees. Going to the loaf. Up mountain, going to the loaf. Far from the city below. Going to the loaf. Up mountain, going to the loaf. Gonna drive those windy roads. Oh, you want soulful, huh? Okay. I'm gonna give you some soulful music right now. It goes like this. Ooh, yeah, girl. Child, woman, girl. Child, woman. Ooh, yeah. Gonna rock you, child, woman, girl. All night long. There. How's that for soulful? Was that soulful? That was soulful though, right? What I just sang? Singers who do that kind of stupid shit are very, very soulful. You can be sure of that. That's the definition of soul. I've got a match, but she's got a lighter. I've got a flame, but she's got a fire. I was high, but she was much higher. She was high, but she was the sky. Oh, baby, I was bound for Mexico. say I love you, but you don't believe me. You say you love me, but I got no doubts. Oh, baby, I was bound for Mexico. Oh, baby, I was bound to let you go. That's a cover, by the way, from the band Cake. Well, the thing is, El Shiva, I don't play that style of music, you know? And that's okay. I'm not saying that style of music is bad. I'm saying I don't play that style of music. I'm much more country than I am Motown, you know? And I'm a lot of different influences in my music, but not a lot of soul music influencing it. That's true. And then on the dock of the bay, running down the way, sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. That's a Otis Redding song, right? This is an Otis Redding song too. Well, my name is Otis Redding, and I have just been treading water here in the lake, waiting to be rescued. I went swimming just the other day. Everybody said, Otis, oh hey, don't go in there, don't go into the water, you can't swim. Otis, what you doing then? Why would you go and take a chance like that with your life? And I said, I'm Otis Redding, I'm sure that I can swim if I try. I'm gonna jump in the lake under the assumption that I will figure it out. Once I am in the water, then I'll figure it out. And that's what he did, that's what he did. Now he is out there treading water, saying in his head, I'm Otis Redding. Surely I won't be dead at the end of this treading water. I instead will be rescued. And sure enough, Mary Redding came over, and that's his wife, and she was in a boat and said, Otis, what are you doing out here? Will you not float? If you won't float and you've got to tread so much water, perhaps you should get in the boat and come home and see that our daughter is misses you, and worry that perhaps you were drowning. And Otis Redding said, wow, I'm so glad you came, and how. Yes, I wasn't drowning, but wondering, wow, whether anybody eventually would rescue me. I'm Otis Redding. That's probably Otis Redding's best song. I don't know if you guys remember that. You want me to play? Oh, you want me to play like an old Negro spiritual, El Shiva? Okay. La 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 la. When all of a sudden I saw everybody lid. I'm playing Negro Spirit just because I got the blues. First I say, Lordy, Lord, won't you carry me home? Come down from the heavens on your spiritual throne. Take me up to heavens from these cotton fields. I'm baling in the hay beside it. Won't you feel my righteous indignation at this? Lordy, Lordy, Lord, bring your fiery fists. So travel down to the fields here, take me away. Oh, hi. The white man make me work all day in the sun while picking this the cotton bales up like the hay, but I don't feel like doing it anyway, so I wish I could stop. But they will whip me all the time when I stop, and I don't like to be whipped. I don't like to be whipped. If I disobey them, they are violent men. They are violent men. So I continue picking cotton out here in the sunshine. Oh yeah, and I'm a singing Negro spirit you all the time. Oh yeah, I'm saying, Lord, 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 I come from heaven down, travel down upon the great swing and swing me around up to heaven, away from this earth where these violent men are making me work. Oh yeah, Negro spiritual time. And that's what you'd call your classic Negro spiritual. The thing is, Elishiba, what you're neglecting is that nobody invented anything that I play except me. Except for those who wrote the covers that I wrote. Educate yourself about what? I don't know what I'm supposed to educate myself about. I'm responsible for creating all of the music that I create. Not black people, not Nashville, not jazz, not blues. None of those things are responsible for anything that I make. I am. That made you cringe in realization of the truth, of the glory of the truth of my Negro spiritual? Don't deny me access to my own cultural heritage. Remember, I am fluidly transracial. So there's nothing cringy about playing a Negro spiritual. God, stop cringing about a whole person's culture. It's like ridiculous. Don't be racist. Also, that was super rad, so, there's that. Doy. Doy. I stole everything I do from poor black women. Are you sure I stole everything I do from poor black women? I'm pretty sure that's not true. After all, I'm Gregory in disguise, hands in my pockets, walking down the drive. Guys, he doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in disguise. He hates the lies, wants to confront the men, always telling them. But every time he tries, they only run and hide. Again he is denied the chance to yell at him. And so he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in disguise. He hates his lies, wants to confront the men, always telling them. And every time he tries, they only run and hide. Again he is denied the chance to yell at them, until the bridge brings a new approach. Sneakily he'll try to encroach up on the guilty, then perhaps he'll get the chance to yell at them. He's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets, now he's walking down the drive. Averts his eyes, he doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets, now he's walking down the drive. Averts his eyes, he doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in disguise. He hates the lies, wants to confront the men, always telling them, but every time he tries, they only run and hide. Again he is denied the chance to yell at them. Oh yeah. Thank you. That was called Gregory in Disguise. I stole that one from the Mexicans. That's right, Boba Fett. Yeah, stole that one from the Mexicans. I stole this from all the African Americans. Every time I meet an African American, I steal something musically from them. Straight out of Arcadia, fudge the police coming straight from the underground. I'm a young Eric, got it bad 'cause he's brown. Fuck the police straight from the underground, yeah. If you a policeman, then I say fuck you. I'm NW, what you talking about? Fuck the police coming straight from the underground, with a little bit of gold and a pager. Fucking with me, 'cause I'm a teenager, with a little bit of gold and a pager. Taking a life to do what the hell I do. You don't like how I'm living, well fuck you. Really gang go, I'm in a gang of lyrics with attitude. Fuck the police coming straight from the underground. Young Eric got it bad 'cause he's brown. Fucking with me 'cause I'm a teenager, with a little bit of gold and a pager. I'm taking a life for two, that's what the hell I do. I'm taking a life for two, that's what the hell I do in WA. Eric's with attitude today, it's EWA. They're stealing stuff from the black people every time I play EWA. Stealing people from the black book today. I'm stealing stuff from black people, yeah. It's every time I play, I am EWA. Fuck the police. Fuck the police. Fuck the police. Fuck the police. Tell them what you gotta say. Fuck the police, 'cause I'm an authority. And I'm the criminal, I'm in authority. Thinking I have to do that. I need the lyrics for it. a good song, right? It's a good rhythm for Fuck the Police. Let me pull up the lyrics of Fuck the Police. I can play that song. That's a funny one. That works well with Fuck the Police, I think. I just want to say, from now on, let's change it to Duck the Police, okay? The police are tired. It's not fair that they get so much ass, you know? Why is it the cops get so much ass? Because NWA told all the ladies to fuck the police. They should have told them to fuck people who aren't police. Okay, alright. Here we go. Yeah. This is wonderful, wonderful stuff. I really like it. It's so great. Makes me feel kind of like, wow, look at that. Look at me go. Wow. Hey, look, hey, wow. Makes me say those things. Which I love saying those things. Because those things make me be like, hey, wow. Look at that, hey. Fuck the police coming straight from the underground. Young Eric got it bad cause I'm brown, not the other color. So police think they have the authority to kill a minority. But fuck that shit cause I ain't the one for a punk motherfucker with a badge and a gun to be beaten on and thrown in jail. We can go toe to toe in the middle of a cell, fucking with me cause I'm a teenager with a little bit of gold and a pager. Taking an search looking for products, thinking every air kid's selling narcotics. You'd rather see me in the pen than me and Lorenzo rolling in the benzo. Beat the policeman out of shape. Out of shape. And when I'm finished, bring the yellow tape to tape off the scene of the slaughter. Still getting swole off bread and water. Well, I don't know if they're homosexuals or what, but they search me down and they grab my nuts. And on the other hand, without a gun they can't get none. But don't let it be a black and an Eric one, cause they'll slam you down to the street top. Black police showing up for the white cop. Ice Cube will swarm any motherfucker in a blue uniform. Just cause I'm from the CPT, police are afraid of me. I'm a young Eric on a warpath, and when I'm finished it's gonna be a bloodbath. Cops are dying in LA. Yo Dre, I got something to say. Fuck the police. Fuck the police. Fuck the police. Fuck the police. Pull your goddamn ass over right now. Aw shit, now what the fuck you pulling me over for? Cause I feel like it. Sit your ass on the curb and shut the fuck up. Man, fuck this shit. Alright, smart ass, I'm taking your black ass to jail. MC Ren, will you please give your testimony to the jury about this fucked up incident? Oh yeah, I say fuck the police and say it with authority. Cause Eric's on the streets is the majority of gangs who, wherever I'm stepping, and the motherfucking weapon is kept in a sash spot or for the so-called law. Wishing Eric was an Eric that they never saw. Lights were flashing behind me. They scared of an Eric, so that makes me to blind me. But that shit don't work, I just laugh, cause it gives them a hint not to step in my past for the police. I'm saying fuck you punk, reading my rights and shit, it's all junk. Pulling out a silly club so you stand with the big ass badge and a gun in your hand. But take off the gun so we can see what's up, and we'll go at it, punk, and I'ma fuck you up, make you think I'm gonna kick your ass. But drop your gat, then I'ma gonna blast, cause I'm sneaky as fuck when it comes to crime. I smoke 'em now and not next time. Smoke any motherfucker that threatens me, or any asshole that threatens me. I'm a sniper with a hell of a scope, I'm taking out a copy. They can't cope with me, the motherfucking villain that's mad with my tendency to get bad as fuck. bad as fuck, just like a truck stuck in a muck. Isn't a luck, a bad stuck lake in a truckety puck. And what, I simply have to scroll down. I gotta scroll down. Gotta scroll down. Gotta scroll down. What the fuck you say, Easy E? Come on, tell us, yeah, you see, we have an arrest warrant for Easy E. Get down and put your hands right where I can see them. Man, what the fuck I do? Man, what the fuck I do? I didn't do nothing, just get your motherfucking ass on the floor. I'm tired of the motherfucking jacking, sweating my gang while I'm chilling in the shack and shining the plate in the face for what? Maybe it's because I kick so much, but I kick ass. Maybe because I blast on a stupid egg when I'm playing with the trigger of an Uzi or an AK. Cause the police always got something stupid to say. They put up my picture with silence, cause my identity by itself causes violence. I'm the E. Criminal behavior, yeah, I'm a gangster. Still I got flavor. Without a gun and a badge, what you got? A sucker in a uniform waiting to get shot by me or another Eric C. What'll happen then? A GGG with a cat. It don't matter if he's smarter or bigger size. I mean shit, he's from the old school fool. If you know what I mean, it's true. And as you all know, he's here to rule. Whenever I'm rolling, people looking in the mirror. Ears on cue, yo, so I can hear. Dumb motherfucker with a gun and a cat. I'm rolling up the 8, he'll be the one that I take out and then get away. And while I'm driving off laughing, this is what I'll say. Fuck the police. 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 So the jury has found you guilty of being a redneck, white bread, chicken shitting motherfucker. Wait, that's a lie. That's a goddamn lie. Get him out of here. I want justice. Get him the fuck out my face. I want justice. Out right now. Fuck you, you black motherfucker. That's a pretty good rendition of Fuck the Police, if you're fond of that song. Oh my Lord. Lord, oh Lord, will heaven send down a chariot to carry me home to my maker. Lord, oh Lord. Sweet Lord of Jesus above, send down a chariot to take me home to my maker. Right now. I'm tired. Oh, but I'm tired. Oh, Lord and Lord. Jibba-da, I've been working on my bones to the bone. Well, come on now, 70 years. Time for old Abigail to settle into a chair. Oh, nobody's going to accuse me of racism successfully. I'm not racist. I think race is funny because it's stupid. I think racial stereotypes and the generally making of racist jokes is a funny thing as an object of enjoyment, not because of its actual content, right? Like, I'm a little bit more meta than your accusations of racism can sustain. I'm sorry. You're accusing down here, but I'm operating up here, so fuck off. I mean, that's basically my principle on the matter. I think we could try to clip my shit out of context, but the thing is, you've got to be really interested in defaming me, because it's going to take a lot of time and effort to dig through a bunch of shit to find things that could be clipped out of context in order to defame me. You know, you have to have an initial investment of a lot of purposeful energy towards this, because there's just so much content to go through. I know, but it's an interesting question, right? It's something I want to be proactive in defending, so yeah, I'm going to do some explaining. Because just because you know, but that doesn't mean everybody knows. Okay? For example, does your mom know? Is she listening right now? Can you bring her over? Tell her to get over to the radio? You're listening to this on the radio, right? In India, they have to listen to the internet on the radio. What's that city called? Calcutta. I'm AM 720. Well, your mom knows too? Okay. Just be glad you don't live in Indiana. Talk about a crazy place. Indiana. If that is your real name. I really was proud of California and Los Angeles in particular for that. Okay, tell your mom she's just going to have to chill on that, okay? She's just going to have to suffer without. She's going to have to suffer the hunger pangs of going without my D. I am 50 years old, Lady Foxwolf. I am the big 50. It's getting on time for a haircut pretty soon, you know. I'm feeling a little overgrown, like a garden overdue for a gardener's visit. You thought you were insulting me by saying that? Yeah, I'm 50. I'm surprised you didn't say, are you in your 60s? Because a lot of people think I might be in my 60s just by looking at me. But I'm actually only 50 years old. Oh. Well, I was in my 40s last year, if that's any consolation. I don't mind being 50 at all. It's like, because I'm an ENTP, I think this has a lot to do with it. I genuinely feel like, okay, I'm getting really ready to live now. I think some people genuinely think that. I do look pretty old. It depends how I'm dressed too. But you know, I've lived hard. I was a meth addict. I was a drunk. You know, it shows in my face. I've lived hard. I don't know what else to tell you. I still live kind of hard. You know, not like I used to, but and that will make you, like, you know, look at Keith Richards, right? He's all super wrinkly and everything. Well, it's because he's lived hard. Although I'm not sure if that always applies to everybody, because it's not like Rachel's exactly lived soft, but she doesn't seem to. She's kind of got this ageless thing going on, you know? She just has this smooth roundness to her. She's starting to get some gray hairs, but she doesn't show the... her face isn't covered with lifelines like mine is. You can see all the life in my face. It's like, see all those lines? I mean, I don't care. It doesn't bother me at all. I'm not really concerned with looking young or looking old or anything like that. I'm not really concerned with my looks. I'm I feel like I'm playing on house money for sure. That it's like, first of all, the only reason would care about my looks is because they would be too bad to permit me to get an adequate mate. But I've successfully gotten an adequate mate, so that's done. And then the only other thing I care about my looks about is if I look too unpleasant to watch on YouTube, then people won't watch me. So like, say I had a big turd right here on my face, people would get really tired of looking at that, and they'd not want to see that. And like when I had that red, this thing is still a little bit there. It really bugged me. Thanks, Rachel. You're a sweetheart. That's right. That's why they call me Baby Pig Poop Face. Because, see, there's an inherent paradox there, right? If I were really a baby, I wouldn't have such a poop face. But I am such a baby, and I have such a poop face because I'm a baby who's a pig who's consumed shit tons for decades. And it, it's like some women, they eat cake, it goes all to their hips or whatever they say. Well, for me, I consume a lot of stuff, it goes all to my face. Yeah. There are all kinds of people make up the human race. People who try, people who were lazy, people who cry, and people go crazy. But one thing I know is that I am Baby Pig Poop Face. Baby Pig Poop Face is my name, 'cause I am a baby, a pig, and poop face at the same time. All of them standing in line, waiting for men to come around. Why? To listen to Baby Pig Poop Face. How did I make it 50 years, retaining all my baby like tears, and also gathering poop in my face? Born year of the pig means you got an affinity for figs and twigs and drugs. I don't know why I turned out to be so continually, constantly a baby, but I never grew up. Emotionally, I feel like I am still 3 years old. That's okay because I'm Baby Pig Poop Face, and that means that I am a person among the human race. Brenner. Look who's here. It's Brenner. From The King and I. It's Yul Brynner's son, Yul Brynner II. Brenner. Don't you be using that word pejorative, okay? That's too fancy. Just say bad. Not in a bad way, okay? Pejorative. God. I hope you were being facetious. when you tried to use the word pejorative. God. You don't need to fret, my dear. That insult was not insulting, here is why. I meant it, but not in a pejorative sense. No, don't conceive that I would mean such a thing pejoratively. No, instead, I mean it in the nicest possible way. The nicest possible way. Oh yeah. That'd be good lyrics for like a adult jazz contemporary song. Don't worry, baby. I didn't mean that in a pejorative sense. I'm just saying, I like the way your horrible outfit doesn't look quite so bad on you as it would on somebody else. In the nicest possible way. But I spent $700 on this outfit. Ooh. You're really stupid. Not in a pejorative sense. Not in a pejorative sense. I don't understand. You're not supposed to. It's fine. You wouldn't understand. It's a pejorative thing. Only we pejoratites understand. We need to see. We need to know. We need to pen happenings down by our means to judge a logic to life we devisively unlike and from which we'll rarely budge. People everywhere gather up, enemies outraged at how they miss a sign. How do they set their priorities? These foreign backstabbing entities ensuing heartache and misery follow necessarily from their savage ways. Insulting, cursing, and Desiree, we're stuck with such petty larceny. We all partition the rectories and call it destruction of the whole damn world. Judy shares now her limits, hoping Julie will too. Jerry shares for 4 minutes. He just can't share things like they do. And Judy always thought that she should have bought too when she had the chance to buy. Judy always thought that I should have not, although she ever called. She'll People everywhere gather up, enemies outraged at how they miss a sign. How do they set their priorities? These foreign backstabbing entities ensuing heartache and misery follow necessarily from their savage ways. Insulting, cursing, and Desiree, we're stuck with such petty larceny. We all partition the rectories and call it destruction of the whole damn world. Kaboom. Alright, Boba Fett. Fine. But I'm going to have to pull it up on the old machine. The old information machine, as they call it. Who calls it that, Eric? People in the information machine business? You mean computer? It's called an information machine. It's a better name for it. Mostly it doesn't compute things for me. I don't know about you, but I do very little computing on my computer. Occasionally I use the calculator to compute how long, like, 16 bars of a certain BPM is. That's about all the computing I do on the computer, and even then, I'm really doing it on the calculator on the computer. So I think we should call it an information machine. And that's fair, and it's true and just, and everyone should agree with me. Now and forevermore. Amen. These are the words of truth that fill your heart with joy. These are the things that make us say, wow, hello, I'm glad to be alive today. Words are meaningless to performers, but please type Knopfler. Who's Mark Knopfler? Why do I want to type it? Because I don't have it memorized. That's why, Boba Fett. The ones with the ones that I play normally are ones that I have memorized. If I don't have it memorized, then I'm not likely to play it that often. Amelia, go from that place, take unto you the details of your case. Amelia, when you rise above, floating ahead and soaring like a dove, what will they say when they look at you, then moving sideways in the space you're in, and staring sidelong with your thirsty grin? Amelia, can't you see, you and I will never be Amelia, yet you're still free, with too much opportunity to leave out in the rain. Amelia, Amelia, we're watching you, fell for sure, no matter what we do. Amelia, when you rise up above, floating ahead and soaring like a dove, what will they say when they look at you, then moving sideways in the space you're in, and staring sidelong with your thirsty grin? Amelia, can't you see that you and I will never be Amelia, yet you're still free, with too much opportunity to leave out in the, too much opportunity to leave out in the, too much opportunity to leave out in the rain. Amelia, oh. I can only sing about other people when they're in the room if I switch their gender, and that's how I met your father. So, he came here with her, and what's the problem that you can't endure? You seem so sure it's not appropriate claiming to blame things on Scott. Despite getting caught, he's got you reframing for him, straining for him, going to the gym to make yourself good enough again. You guys both have lost invested. That's not a reason to stay around. Through the years, you've both been tested. Time to move up, find higher ground. Oh, he came here with her, and what's the big problem that you can't endure? You seem so sure it's not appropriate claiming to blame things on Scott. Despite getting caught, he's for him. Training for him. Going to the gym to make yourself good enough again. Be done with him. Fucked up the end of it. That'll happen sometimes, you know. When you're drinking fine wine, you'll have some times when you go, oh fuck, I fucked it up. You're living on a time frame I will never know. Alienation and humanity's soul. Imagine you a future after the collapse, returning to the urgency of isolated past. Picturing community free of metaphysics, hunting buffalo, picking red delicious, knowledge of the seasons, wisdoms of old. Fires blazing in the night to keep away the cold. Hostility is kept at bay by what you think is in the way of life as children of the land, with an agave weatherman. Imagining a history never could have been. You lecture at the college, advancement is a sin. Lamenting disconnection in every corporate act. Asserting all your feelings and ignoring all the facts. Hostility is kept at bay by what you think is in the way of life as children of the land, with an agave weatherman. You find modernity just so banal. Wish you had been born any time but now, and your experience won't run afoul of exceptions you might allow. You visualize nobility sipping on some port, or tribes of peaceful savages in beautiful comport. But few of history's people ever thusly did cavort, 'cause life was solitary, nasty, brutish, poor and short. Hostility is kept at bay by what you think is in the way of life as children of the land, with an agave weatherman. With an agave weatherman. Thanks, Brenner. Now here's a fun song to play. What's it called, you might ask? I'll tell you. It's the last song that I am going to play before the next song that I play. It's called Pucker Tart Lemon Squeeze. Isn't that adorable? Isn't that absolutely adorable? It is. Oh, well, he's Pucker Tart Lemon Squeeze, the friendliest guy that you will see. Yes, he wants to be your friend, but he comes from around the bend, and it'll be a while till he sees you again. He's Pucker Tart Lemon Squeeze, he's a friend to you and me. He's international delight, favorite go-to right-hand guy. He's international like him and busy like his friend, the beaver bee. Busiest creature, busy as a bee, busy as a beaver, and so much busier than Pucker Tart Lemon Squeeze. Well, he's Pucker Tart Lemon Squeeze, shabba-doo-ba-da-ba-ba-doo-da. Pucker Tart Lemon Squeeze, shabba-doo-ba-day. Yes, he's Pucker Tart Lemon Squeeze, shabba-doo-ba-da-ba-ba-doo-da. Pucker Tart Lemon Squeeze, shabba-doo-ba-day. And if you go to visit him for starts, remember to bring something sour or tart. He's not a fan of sugary treats because he's Pucker Tart and not Pucker pucker sweet. Well, he's pucker tart, lemon squeeze, the friendliest guy that you will see. Yes, he wants to be your friend, but he comes from around the bend, so it will be a while till he sees you again. He's pucker tart, lemon squeeze, he's a friend to you and me. He's International Delight's favorite go-to right-hand guy. International like him and busy like his friend the beaver bee. Busiest creature, busy as a bee, busy as a beaver, and so much busier than pucker tart, lemon squeeze. Well, pucker tart, lemon squeeze, shabba-doo-ba-da-ba-ba-doo-da. Pucker tart, lemon squeeze, shabba-da-ba-day. Yes, he's pucker tart, lemon squeeze, shabba-doo-ba-da-ba-ba-doo-da. Pucker tart, lemon squeeze, shabba-doo-ba-day. Pucker tart. I didn't play that particularly well. My voice is kind of shot. Shot like a cannon ball from a cannon, perhaps. But I do want to play one more song for you with the guitar, and that is Cloudy Day. Even though Rachel's not out here to sing it with me, that's fine. I'll sing it myself. Pluck over the sound hole. You sound like you enjoy good sound hole plucking. Is that true? Boba Fett loves a really vigorous sound hole plucking. It's a very cloudy day in Los Angeles, and today we run out of time. Struggles past, struggles still to come. The day is nearly done. Can someone buy us some more time? Cloudy day in Los Angeles, cloudy day in LA. I'm no sort of evangelist, but I have something to say. Life can strangely be forgiving to those who stay awake all night, and mostly our voices say to give in. They'll try to sap your will to fight. But whether I'm supposed to be here or just be soon forgotten, noise is sort of based on what I see here, and also on what I avoid. It's a very cloudy day in Los Angeles, and today we run out of time. Struggles past, troubles still to come. The day is nearly done. Will someone buy us some more time? Cloudy day in Los Angeles, cloudy day in LA. I'm no sort of evangelist, but I have something to say, something to say. Why is everybody's show fracking stupid? Boy, that's a question I find myself asking sometimes, Brenner. You know, it's one of those mysterious questions that has no answers. Maybe it's just a matter of mood, ultimately. Because let me tell you something, Brenner. When I was younger, it seemed that everything gleamed. Okay? When I was younger, it seemed that everything gleamed. I don't know what happened to me, but I've lost that sense of urgency, and I don't think that I'll ever see it again. If you follow my lead, you'll discover I'm loster than you, and you'll want to know the way to get back at to wherever it was you thought you knew. And tomorrow will be just like today. I'll be lost then too. It's a matter of mood as much as a matter of will, and the things I do and the direction I point to still seem a part of me, though departedly. And I wonder if I'll ever see them again. Bum-ba-dee-da, ba-dee-da-dee-da, bum-ba-dee-da, da-da-doo. Ba-ba-dee-da, ba-da-da-da-da, ba-ba-dee-da, da-da-da. Well, I fucked up in one spot, but fortunately it was where I said, if you follow my lead, I'll be loster than you. So I was just proving my point, I guess, in that spot. I tried to prove my point. I'm going to play another song from the old Bobette list, actually. I'm going to go up here and play this song. I like this song. We don't play it very often. I didn't get a lot of hooray hooray from people, but I like it anyway. I like to play it. I think it's a good song. Santa Ana's from the east are blowing, driving down this mountain fire. So Grant and Lana had best be going. They'd cut it down to the wire, and everywhere apocalypse hung heavy, and the truck was piling with ash. Lana got the dogs in the Chevy, and Grant counted out their petty cash. If times are ending, then time is bending. Flames rain down from the sky, while the dogs knock out with Grant exhaust. Lana stays awake to cry. 120 outlet Labor Day, and that means cooking meat outdoors. Guy got distracted and fire got away. Now from Bradford to Arcadia they curse his name. Fire chased them west and down the incline till they reached the foothills below. They found a room cheap for the night online. At least now they had someplace to go. Tomorrow they'd evaluate their options now that their life had turned away. Lana's sister has a place in Laughlin. Wasn't really any more to say. If times are ending, then time is bending. Flames rain down from the sky, while the dogs knock out with Grant exhausted. Lana stays awake to cry. If times are ending, then time is bending. Flames rain down from the sky, while the dogs knock out with Grant exhausted. Lana stays awake to cry. While the dogs knock out with Grant exhausted, Lana stays awake to cry. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. This feels like a Craigslist Anon chat. I've never been engaged in a Craigslist Anon chat. Do you discuss the features of being anonymous? How wonderful it is and all that stuff? Lady Foxwolf says, yeah, like I was dumb as fuck at 18 and I hated being so and life was shit, but to be 18 again, nice. I can start fresh. This song is for those of you who wish you could start fresh. Sammy has a story that need be told. This is a song for an open road, and such a thing must always do its job. Married up, Jeb turned 19, 4 years and 3 kids weaned, weary now and questioning the path. Agency out, bases discretion, locking in our courses, way too young. The urgency convert is really just depression, making sure those underneath them always run. Doug at 20 thought bourbon fun, and likewise Doug at 21, and so forth well up into middle age. Well, once that seemed to set him free, came his whole identity. Now Doug out another drunken rage. Agency out, basic discretion, locking in our courses, way too young. The urgency convert is really just depression. They'll offer you incentives, but they haven't got a thing that's fun. Everybody's panicked about the kids. Lock 'em up with extra dexedrine. Mathematics to produce success, or impose more unjust duress. Agency out, basis discretion, locking in our courses, way too young. The urgency convert is really just depression. They're making sure you're underneath and always run. Without consent, it's really just oppression. By parasites surviving on their wages earned by lying. Well, they feed their fear of dying. Yes, they feed upon the futures of the young. For those of you who are feeling either depressed and or meh or whatever, just remember this. You got a total of about 30,000 days, okay? 30,000 days. Too many expectations. Not even worth a damn. 30,000 nights to sleep off the intoxication. Otherwise you won't escape the plan. I wasted half my days trying another's ways. Who can tell me my priorities? Is there anybody knows the key? 'Cause I'm tired of doing it wrong. I want direction and have all along. Wait until I know. Or is that just hesitation? Clarity's no good once your chance is gone. What I need to know is it so below my station? I'm tired of doing it wrong. I wasted half my days trying another's ways. Who can tell me my priorities? Is there anybody knows the key? 'Cause I think I'm doing this wrong. I think I'm doing this wrong. I think I'm doing this wrong. Doing this wrong. Too much noise in the data stream. Loud enough to disrupt everybody's dreams. Frustrations mean I used to think that some tomorrow there'd be time for yesterday. It's not the sort of thing that one can borrow. No one will to end the day. Uncertainties implicit, just like an unexpected visit from a bunch of men all dressed in blue suits. I won't be another casualty of other people's well-intentioned rules. I used to think that some tomorrow there'd be time for yesterday. Well, actually, I always have trouble playing that song. I didn't play it too badly that time, for a change. Now here's a song that really teaches us something about people and about the way they are and about how they are and what they do and stuff like that. Okay, here we go. Bring this a little closer because I'm going to sing it real quiet because I'm going to sing it real low, okay? Here we go. If Jesus were people but absent of sin, he must then have struggled with regular men and women, of course, when they too were present. Disciples all warily eyeing the lesson. If people were Jesus, they'd know as they think, and everyone's work would be true. And feelings once spoken would sit where they sink, and we'd all know just what to do. But people aren't Jesus once they're betrayed. The easy believing forever is lost. Maybe naivete is not to be saved, but the wise pay a terrible cost. Does virtue require a rational take, or is virtue that's reasoned invariably fake? Does musing itself just distract from the flow, or is care better served by deliberate and slow? People aren't Jesus once they're betrayed. The easy believing forever is lost. Maybe naivete is not to be saved, but the wise pay a terrible cost. The one you thought you knew acts like you never have met. The life you made for two has faded into regret. There's no one unshaken, we all have been shook, but being forsaken don't mean you're forsook. And though in the past we've been hung out to dry, we'll find them at last if we're willing to try. People aren't Jesus once they're betrayed. The easy believing forever is lost. Maybe naivete is not to be saved, but the wise pay a terrible cost. Yeah, maybe naivete is not to be saved, but the wise pay a terrible cost. It's a good song that is either at the very bottom or very top of my singing range. Since I don't use a capo, I don't feel like transposing it, I don't necessarily play it that often. Brenner, I love that comment. You should read the Bible but destroy the connections between your hippocampus and your PFC that tell you about the societal implications of religion. Also shrooms. You know what, let's just go with the second one. Just go with the second one. What's the matter with Chad? Is he terribly bad? Is he baby like Dan? Who's a terrible man? Is he sort of like Jill who can't pay her bill? Or rather like Jack, too stuck on the facts? Why is Sue? Does she know what to do if they bring attitude? Does she show ingenuity? She talks about you whenever we go walking. What's the matter with Bren? Is she living in sin? She's been hanging with Jim, who's looking terribly thin. What's the deal with Frank? Stealing fish from my tank. He's colluding with you, and they're talking to Lou. What's wrong with the ladies? What's the matter with men? From the feelings of Katie to the coldness of sin. They talk about you whenever we go walking. Past their little lesser days, still out the overwatered past. And whoever's left, that's still okay. Just tie the sails to the mast. Are you angry at Ken or at Neville again? Don't bother with Kev, he's practically dead. Just focus on Bert, he's medium hurt. What's the quandary for Liz? Did she fail a quiz? What's the deal with Drew? Will she know what to do if they bring attitude? Was she showing genuity? She talks about you whenever we go walking. Paths that lead to lesser days, still spell out the overwatered past. And whoever's left, it's still okay. Just tie the sails to the mast. Each of us have much and gravely sinned. Throw up the hands, stiffen the chin. The catastrophe looms heavy overhead again. Time's gone will never be again. That's it for the guitar playing today. I think I am done. And your mom is Butters. Your mom is Butter. She butters my crumpets. She butters my crumpets with her kind of trumpet. She is a crumpet. She is a trumpet. She is what you call it, a thrumpet. I'm going to thump it. She is a thrumpet. She is playing the trumpet to crumpets. And in England, you know, somebody's fanny is not their butt, it's their vagina. Did you know that? Did everybody know that? Here in America, we understand the correct meaning of the word fanny. It means your butt, your derriere, your bottom, your cheeks, your back cheeks, your back and middle cheeks. But in England, fanny means vagina. So that's why they don't wear fanny packs in England. If they did, they would have to strap, instead of around the waist, like this, between the legs. Punch 'em in the fanny is another term for fisting. Fat, flappy fanny. Hello, my name's Fat, Flappy Fanny. I've got a very flappy fanny. When I go out without any pants on, my flaps swing back and forth in the wind. Me meat flaps. Me lady meat flaps. Hey, tell you blokes to stop swatting me flaps. I'm trying to air 'em out. Go down to the lorry station and get a pram. We'll push it around. Go up to the flat via the lift. Yeah, well, in England, the key thing to getting the English accent correct is remember that English people are constantly asking questions, such as, have you seen this? Have you seen this? Have you seen this? Do I know what my name is? Is it Steve? It is, isn't it? Yes? I say, bloody good show? I think so. I'm not sure. Am I? I'm British. Am I? What is this? Have you seen this? This is... Have you? Have you seen this? What is it? It's those bloody Yanks. They invented some new gadget, didn't they? What is it? Have you seen it? Have you seen one of these? Oh, yes. It's called a lighter. It's called a lighter. Nowadays, most British people talk like this. Unfortunately, it's called a lighter. A lighter, you say? It's a lighter? Are you sure? Did those Yanks make it? Those bloody Yanks from across the pond? I do say I'm not quite sure whether you're correct. It must have been. It's the other way the British people talk. Also, they talk like this. What are you doing in the flat? What are you doing here? What are you doing in the flat? I went down to the beach. Oh. They have that kind of quality as well. A variety of different English accents, There's super upper crust one. I'm terribly sorry, but would you mind removing yourself from these vicinities? Very much quite sorry. I really don't mean to offend. If you don't mind, you can simply leave your hat here, say if you'd like. Or that's like more like a fancy British person, Fancy British women always say things like, I am the Queen of England, not a brood sow. I am nobody's brood sow. I am the Queen of England. They talk like that. If you get like a Mexican gardener working for the Queen of England, they have a lot of trouble communicating. Be a good lad. Make sure that none of the bushes stick out at all, shall we? Just none of them stick out, okay? Okay? I don't understand what you mean. You want me to cut the bushes? Yes, I'm just saying, please make sure that none of them stick out at all. Okay? Stick out. You want me to cut the bushes, right? Yes, cut them, but make sure that... Okay, I cut the bushes. I know. I understand. No. Excuse me, Mrs. Elizabeth. You want me to cut these bushes here? Yes, cut all of the bushes, please. And make sure that nothing sticks out. Okay? Who hired this Mexican gardener? I remember I went to pick up some Mexicans from the Home Depot one time to work on my old house in Temple City. basically to move everything out and move it back in again, because I wanted to rearrange shit, and it was a mess. And I said, I'm looking for people to help me basically clean out my house. You know, limpiar. We know what clean means. Yeah, I guess you probably do. My bad. Yeah, oh, see, we know. You all say what clean means. We know how to clean. Yeah. The fox says, I've got a very bushy tail. I've got a very sneaky way. I'm clever and I'm crazy and I'm gonna run away when you chase me on your horses with your hounds. That's what the fox says. Despite what the Scandinavians might tell you, you can never trust the Scandinavians when they're reporting about animal sounds. It's rule number one. Oh, Peter, you're so spoiled. You're so spoiled, you make me goil. Hey, Peter. Hey, Peter. You want some pecans, huh? Peter absolutely loves pecans. We got a bag of pecans for making the stuffing back at Christmas. But we didn't use the whole bag, and I've been feeding him the leftovers from that bag of pecans, and he's like, wow, I really like these pecans. And now I gave him cat food, and he kind of looks at me like, what, no pecans? You know what else he really likes? Pistachios. The fox says, why are you trying to talk to me? What made you think that I was capable of conversation? How did you know that I was the talking fox? I'll say, I trusted my gut. I used my NI. I said, that one right there, that's the one that can talk. I could tell because you were the only one reading the book. And I said, wait a minute, one of these foxes is not like the other. One of them is reading a book. Let me try talking to him. And sure enough, just as I suspected, if you can read, you can talk. And that's why you are now saying what you're saying, which is, why do you decide to talk to me? And I'm saying what I'm saying, which is, because I saw you reading a book. Now what do you have to say, fox? And then the fox said, well, I guess it was kind of a dead giveaway, but normally people don't notice. I said, well, I'm really good at noticing. And the fox said, are you good at noticing this? And all of a sudden, the book had disappeared. And I said, where did you put that? That's some kind of crazy magic trick. And the fox said, it's no trick. It's real fox magic. And I said, foxes have real magic? And he said, oh, yeah. We can make books disappear. Is that your only magical power? I asked. He said, yes. Because most foxes don't have anything to do with books. I said, well, that's why I'm such a special fox. And that's the true story. That's what the fox said. Then he said, hey, do you have any beef jerky? And I said, I don't have any beef jerky, but I kind of am in the mood for some now that you mention it. What if I go get some? You just hang out here. Well, you can come with me if you want. And the fox said, well, usually they don't let me in stores where they have some sort of muggities. Who are you trying to wrench and why? What's going on here in the chat? It seems like such a harmless conversation, and yet apparently there's some sort of huge drama going on in the chat. My fanny is a woman pocket, sheathed by meat flaps in front. My fanny is a meat pocket that's in my woman crotch. You were all just throwing up? Every man is an island? I'm not an island, I'm an archipelago. I refuse to be relegated to island status, okay? Don't try to make my island into an archipelago. Don't try to make my peninsula into an island. And if you are a cape, I hope it's of good hope. At least that's great to hear. You're the Cape of Good Hope. Your PFP? What's your PFP? Your personal face protector? Don't go swimming with great white sharks. That will alarm you, for surely dark is the color of nighttime. You know, Rachel and I watched all of this show called, I don't know what it was called, but it's about an earthquake hits Japan, and Japan sinks into the ocean. And it's about this one group of people who are trying to get off of Japan to save themselves. It was on Netflix. And it was quite shocking. Like, they, you know, the family's getting away and they're all together, and all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, the dad blows up. He does one little mistake you don't anticipate it, and he just fucking blows the fuck up. And then a little bit later, the mom dies, and you know, people are dying throughout it. And it's always quite shocking the way it happens. It's very sudden, and then everybody has to just move on and pretend like it didn't happen. And you know, it was a really good show. I liked it. I recommend it to anybody. It's a one season complete arc, dude. It's like 10 episodes, the whole storyline complete. No second season or anything. It's kind of nice when you get a nice compact complete arc like that. If it's paced well. And this thing kept Rachel and I up till after midnight. Oh yeah? Why don't you come visit me? Where are you? Oh, never mind then. Okay, if you're not near me, don't tell me you have drugs. If you are near me, just give me a call. I know I did not do fake DMT once. I did fake MDMA multiple times. It's hard to get real MDMA. Just, you know, say, I'll be there in 10 minutes with the following drugs, and I'll say, hold on, let me clean up a bit. I'll see you in a few. Just take 15 minutes, okay? I gotta poop. Tell Rachel that I'm doing a bunch of drugs tonight, and I don't want ketamine. That's a drug I do not like, is ketamine. I don't like dissociative drugs. They're too dissociating. You're a drug virgin? Good for you. Have you ever taken Tylenol? Because you know Tylenol is a mood stabilizer. It's true. That makes it, as far as I'm concerned, an intoxicant. Have you ever drank alcohol, Lady Foxwolf? Because alcohol is really the most druggiest of all the drugs. It's super druggy. Tightness of the pee-pee? What's tightness of the pee-pee? That happens on various drugs. you know. Speed will be like cold weather, so to speak. Make you all. I think Lady Foxwolf is probably a dude. I don't know though. Yeah, if you're trying to claim, as discussed earlier, if you're trying to claim that regular condoms are too small for you, you are lying, because you can literally like put your arm in there. And a regular condom. You do not need a large, extra large condom. If you're getting those Magnum condoms, then I don't know why. What makes you think that's a good idea? You better have like a Rubik's Cube shaped penis. Then fine. Okay. You need a little bit more room. Since you got a cube for a penis. If you got a big ass cube for a penis, then fine. Back in school, the kids would taunt me, calling me cube penis, cube penis. Your penis is a tesseract? Oh. Cool. That's a good shape. Actually, I think I'm going to make my penis a hectagon. I'm going to go hectagon. Lady Foxwolf is a lady, so stop calling Lady Foxwolf a man. Her penis is a slit. It's got meat flaps on either side of the slit. And it's got some useless button at the top that I'd never try pushing. You're quirky? I'm quirky too, you know? I'm a little bit quirky. I like sweaters, I like knitting, I like collecting old snail shells from vintage beaches. I'm quirky. I make my own glass by heating up sand. Dodecahedron. Like a 20-sided dice? Okay, I will. You've sold me. You know what? I'm just going to change just the head of my penis to a dodecahedron. You were, in fact, calling me quirky. Well, that would be fair. I have an occasional quirk or two. Like how I'm always saying, now that's where the music touches the moon! When something good happens, it's very quirky of me. I have no foreskin. I lost it sometime in childhood, I'm not sure when. One day I was like 6 years old, I remember I went to the bathroom, I had my foreskin, and then I don't know if I left it there on the sink or I'm not sure, but haven't seen it since. Have not seen it since. Don't miss it at all. I found it an unnecessary layer of, I guess, insulation. It's like, hey, my penis is already hot enough in the summer. I don't want a perma sweater. About preference. Question, first and fifth. Same ability about preference? No, first and fifth are not same ability. Your first slot function is your dominant nature, and it defines your relationship with your fifth. So for me, because I'm an extroverted intuitor, introverted intuition is used in order to make my extroverted intuition pop more. In other words, it's used as a component of an action function. But the problem is, introverted intuition is not fundamentally an action function, it's a receiving function. So people who are NI-DOMs are most comfortable receiving and knowing about information coming to them from outside. So in that regard, you might say my NI is good when it is, which is to say, if I make a good video that's concise to the point, doesn't waste any time, if I make a good short or something, you might say my NI is good. But it's only good in the sense that it validates with other people's universal understanding of what something ought to be. That doesn't mean that I'm necessarily good in using it in its native capacity, which is predicated on being in an observing state as a default anyway. I'm not in an observing state as a default. I observe for a second, then I'm in an ideational state for a long time about what little bit I observed. Then I observe for another second, then I ideate more. Before you got into typology, what did you spend most of your time speaking on? And did you use it when you first heard about it? So when I started the channel, before I started talking about typology or really learned about cognitive functions or discovered it, the channel was originally kind of what you would call Eric's philosophy talk videos. And I talked a lot about stuff that I now understand much better because of cognitive functions, but basically like theories of truth and just kind of like Heideggerian musings about being and time and stuff like that. And also aesthetics. I talked about aesthetics a lot. Like, okay, well, what makes something aesthetically good? What does it mean to say that something's aesthetically good and that aesthetic relativism is bad? Aesthetic relativism being the notion that beauty's in the eye of the beholder. That if you like something a lot and I hate it, and I like something a lot that you hate, that neither of us is right or wrong. That we're just having different tastes. Well, I don't believe in aesthetic relativism. I reject it. So I would say that one of us is right and one of us is wrong. Those are things that I talked about more, but before I discovered typology. And it's not like typology stopped me from talking about those. It made me understood those within a single, better, bigger metaframe that allowed me to put into context the questions I was asking and answering that were philosophical as expressions of agency, namely myself. And really, when you start with, well, why are you asking these questions? Why are you giving these answers to yourself? When you start with that question, then you're on the right track, framing-wise, for any philosophy question. If you don't start with that question, then whatever philosophizing you're doing is pretending like you aren't doing it, that it's just you're discovering it rather than creating it, which is not the case, even though it might feel like that because that's how NI feels, Black hole versus supernova. Can I have both? Can you serve me my black hole first and then my supernova with my main course? Semantics. Yeah, I always talked about semantics a fair amount, but the thing to remember, Brenner, is semantics. When people talk about like, oh, that's just semantics, they mean something very specific. No, it's not. It's not meaningless. Okay, so when people say that's just semantics, they mean something very specific. So, like for example, if I say that's a soda, and you say, no, it's a pop. And I say, no, it's a soda. And you say, no, it's pop. Well, that's just semantics. We're using different terms, but we mean the same thing. In contrast, talking about how certain meanings can inform us successfully about the nature of reality and or the limits of our capacity to understand the nature of reality is not simply a matter of semantics. There are some things where it might be inappropriate to make argumentational kind of approaches to the topic, but then that too would be stated in words. So cognitive functions allows us to understand why people's relationships with words differ. My relationship with words is very, my life is very word first. So what that means is, being an ENTP with FI polar, it means that when I first have sexual intercourse with a woman, I expect to know basically right then whether we're going to be together forever or whether this is just a one-time thing. And nothing in between. Because I'm operating from a world that says you start with the map and then you proceed forward to reality, not the other way around. So it limits me in certain predictable ways, etc. Blah blah blah. Thoughts on Wittgenstein? I mean, he seems to have forsaken the notion of the good, the intuitively shared good, as an underlying foundation to his work, which I would say is a flaw. You got to sort of afford whatever it is you're doing that assumption, because to pretend as though you're discovering the worth or value of humanity is, yeah, and it's not a positive thing. Well, then at that point, it's just self-defeating. His nihilistic kind of shit is self-defeating. Argumentationally. I prefer Heidegger, although Heidegger takes forever to say anything. But with Fett left, you can feel his absence. Wittgenstein gets used for like a critique and debate. This is the only context in which I really know him. Wittgenstein gets used as a critique and debate. Basically says, death good. You know, it's like, it's an impact turn, but it's going to kill all these people. Well, actually, that's a good thing. That's how you use Wittgenstein. So that's why I don't have positive associations with him. But I've not really read him or anything in full. I just know how I've used him in debate before and what I cut from him and what it said. And that's all I know about him, really. Bye, Boba Fett. You'll be okay. He must have gotten eaten by a Bengal tiger. That's an everyday occurrence in most of India. 6 or 7 people every minute are devoured every 10 feet in India by Bengal tigers. I think that's Rachel, but it could be my dad. Yeah, come in. What can I do for you?
Busy?
No, I'm about done with this. I can wrap this up right now. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. It's been it's time to end anyway.
Not
so
sure.
Goodbye, friends. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.